So it's almost 4 a.m. and I have no idea what that was. I see some new lights over there. Every astrophotographer nightmare, the weather called for clouds. Wind 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. I got all my stuff set up, broke out my intervalometer, and while I was just testing shots, I dropped it in the water, brand new, right out of the box. So think about it here for a second. The majority of us live in such populated, condensed areas. Within the last 150 years, that sky is completely blown out by light pollution. People have been able to look up and see countless stars. We do not get that luxury. This is what I really want to be my subject. All these cool roots jutting out almost like it's reaching for the stars with the meteor shower right here. Don't ever let anyone tell you photography is not a dirty job. When it comes to photographing the outdoors, especially meteor showers, you might think, well, that's pretty easy. You find a dark sky, you show up, you set your tripod up, you point it up, and you take some photos, and you're going to get some meteorites. But I'm here to tell you that is not the case. In this episode, we're going to be photographing the Perseid meteor shower. There will be mud. Electronic devices will get wet. My opportunity for sleeping will be null and void. I'll have to struggle with incoming clouds, possible thunderstorms, and losing my voice. I don't know where that went. So is it even going to be worth it? I guess you're going to have to stick around and find out. But I'll tell you what, that sunrise is worth it. So right now I'm headed about 200 miles to a lake with quite an interesting name. It's called Lake Muma. And this area is in a pretty decent dark sky zone. And we're going to be photographing the Perseids meteor shower. Come down here. Another cool little interesting thing about this area is you find wild strawberries just all over the place. So they don't taste that good, but you can eat them. Once I got to the campsite, I set everything up and I quickly left to head to the beach. I had a rough idea of where I needed to be on the beach in order to be able to get the mountains and the meteor shower. I just didn't know exactly where on the beach I would need to be. So I knew I would need to take some time and walk the beach and find the perfect composition. This is what I really want to be my subject. All these cool roots jutting out with the meteor shower right here. Like, look at that. Setting it up almost like it's reaching for the stars. So I'm sitting by my campfire here at Lake Muma, and this is near a town called Hot Springs in Virginia. But I'm out here to photograph the Perseid meteor shower, which happens annually, and it's probably one of the most reliable meteor showers that we get. And it's been documented by astronomers going back to ancient Chinese, Japanese, and Korean times. And this meteor shower gets its name because it comes from the star Perseus, or the meteors radiate from that. But the meteors that we see actually come from the debris field of the comet Swift-Tuttle. About every 133 years, the Earth passes through its debris field. Every August 11th, 12th, and 13th is usually the peak of this meteor shower. And it's known to produce fast meteors with really bright tails, and the debris will actually linger for a few seconds after it's already been incinerated on impact entering our atmosphere. So it makes for really cool photos, really easy to spot, and they're generally pretty concentrated. And the best part is there's usually between 60 and 80 per hour. Now, the night that I'm shooting, they're going to be about 47 per hour. Tomorrow, the 13th, is going to be the actual peak, and they're rated to be about 87 an hour at about 3:30 in the morning to 5 in the morning.
I get it, go.
As I was walking the beach, I found a lot of this like driftwood, root systems. I was really hoping to make this specific one work, but no matter what angle I chose, I really couldn't get a good position to really show the detail and all the intricacies and depth to the root system. So even though I set everything up and I was using these rocks to place my tripod so that I knew if I needed to come back here or wanted to shoot this, I could actually just put my tripod right where I had it and be able to quickly set up without having to refine my composition. The lens I'm using to capture this photo is the Sigma 14 to 24 millimeter art lens. I have my Canon 1DX Mark II, and then I have a Manfrott fluid head tripod with a Profoto intervalometer. Now, why did I choose Lake Muma to be the place that I come and photograph the Perseids meteor shower? So I've been here a few times, and a lot of the times I come here for Milky Way. The reason being is it is a dark sky location. Light pollution doesn't really reach here. We're just west of Shenandoah in the George Washington National Forest. And the light pollution here is a lot less. It's blocked by this whole mountain range over here. Speaking of that mountain range, that's exactly why I wanted to come here. I wanted to get the mountains. I don't just like pointing my camera up and shooting the stars. I want to get the landscape. I want to be able to tell a full story, something that connects us to the stars. I tested my intervalometer on shore before taking my entire setup into the water to where I was actually going to be taking the photo. I just got back to my campsite after testing everything, and I think I'm going to make the decision to pack up and go to where I'm actually shooting. So driving around that campground, or the Lake Muma, there's two campgrounds there, and there's one of the campgrounds right next to where I'm shooting. There's two spots. So I'm going to pack up here and head over there just to save me time. I'm already exhausted and I haven't eaten yet today. So I'm really wanting to just get a fire going and then eat my dinner, go to bed, and then wake up in a few hours to get this show on the road. Hopefully the cloud cover will disperse. Looking on one of the new apps I downloaded today, I can't remember what it's called. I think it's Atmospheric, but looking on there, the range of seeable clouds, because it breaks it down into 3 layers. The range of seeable clouds is actually supposed to be from like 10 p.m. until 2 a.m. And right now, it even said it's supposed to be cloudy starting about right now. But it's still pretty clear, so I'm really hoping just to be over there. And I'm right next to the lake, right next to the tree stump that I'm going to be using my foreground. And that way, if it is clear, I can have my tripod set up and I can just start shooting now instead of, worrying about leaving it there and me being like 15 minutes away. So this way I'll be right off the water and I can have that camera rolling well into the evening and early morning hours. So I'm going to pack up now and start headed that way so we can get this show on the road and I can hopefully get a shot that I've never got before, which is enough meteor shower shots to stack into one image. And if I don't, and I just am able to see a couple, that works too. But this is kind of the fun part before the reward. You know, you got to have a little bit of struggle in order to really enjoy it. So, all right, let's get this show on the road. 12:30 right now. I'm sitting by the campfire, and I've got some food, getting ready to cook some food here, and I got all my stuff set up, broke out my intervalometer, and while I was just testing shots, I dropped it in the water, brand new, right out of the box. So turned into a rescue mission and ended up having to try and dry it out. It worked for a little bit, stopped working, and I was just manually shooting for probably the last hour until that battery died. And now I have one battery on the charger, another one ready to go for closer to the peak hour, and I'm sitting by the fire here drying out my intervalometer. I made many attempts with trying to whittle Phillips screwdrivers because I left my entire kit at my house, so I'm unprepared in that regard. So I really struggled with that, and none of the sticks worked, but drying it out by the fire, I just turned it on, and it's working. And again, so I'm hoping that it continues to work. I'm going to continue to have it drying off. So a lot of ups and downs so far. Moving campgrounds, dropping that in the water, dealing with clouds. But I'm hoping that we get a little bit better meteor action here within the next few hours. Right now they're peaking at about 47 per hour, and I'm counting usually one noticeable one every 10 minutes. So we'll see what happens in the next few hours. Earlier that day, I cooked a whole bunch of shrimp scampi so I could warm it up on the fire. And while that's warming up, I have all this paracord that I'm going to use to try and create some type of sling that I can actually attach to the intervalometer and my tripod so that I don't have an issue with it falling off again. And with that connected and set up and my camera shooting, I decided it was time for me to just sit next to the campfire, enjoy the sound of the campfire, the heat of the campfire, and just watch the meteor shower unfold. So it's almost 4 a.m. and anyways, I have no idea what that was. I see some new lights over there. Anyways, so it's about 4 in the morning right now. We just passed the peak. Some cloud cover came in, some pretty thin stuff, so hopefully some brighter ones got through onto my camera. It's been shooting for about 2 hours consecutively now. And I'm just laying out here on the beach, I got my mat right here, fire going, and right over my shoulder here is the Milky Way, the center of the Milky Way galaxy. And it obviously doesn't show on my phone, but it is so spectacular to just sit out underneath the stars, laying on this beach, looking up. Something incredibly special about it, and I wasn't planning on recording anymore for the night, but I was like, man, I just wanted to tell you guys how amazing it is, and I wish I could share it with everybody. Hopefully one day we'll be able to do that with our phones. All right, I'll see you guys in the morning. Well, I almost made it all the way through the night. Fell asleep the last 45 minutes. Well, I can still hear it shooting, so that's a good sign. That means it hasn't turned off on me. The battery hasn't died, neither the camera or the intervalometer. And well, after taking a swim within minutes of me opening it, it seems to have still lasted all night. So a wild hair going on. But it's time to get this thing out of the water. This is about to be very cold. I can't begin to tell you how happy I am to not have to step foot in that water again. My feet are beat up from walking on this rocky shore. And I think I stood like 3 hours in the mud almost. But those challenges and the things that you go through to get the shot that you want, to capture the experience that you want to share with everybody, that is one of the most rewarding things that you could get. And I wouldn't have it any other way. Don't ever let anyone tell you photography is not a dirty job.
Now, why is it important for us to drive 5 hours to a dark sky location with all your gear, find a good spot, wait until the sun goes down, not sleep throughout the night, hardly even eat, and wade through mud and water to try and document this stuff? Well, I think it's really important for us to not only just to get outdoors, but to reconnect with being able to see the amount of stars that we do, or that we're able to. The majority of us live in such populated, condensed areas where that sky is completely blown out by light pollution. So think about it here for a second. For tens of thousands of years, really within the last 150 years, people have been able to look up and see countless stars, countless galaxies, planets. We do not get that luxury. So I think it's really important for us to get out there and photograph it for those who can't see it and don't have access to it. But if it inspires you to get out and actually see this stuff, that's even more important. And that's really the goal, is show you guys what's out there, what's important, and whether or not it's attainable for you. And if it piques your interest, then hey, you can go out there and do it too.
This first photo, I just wanted to show you the scene, showing you the Milky Way without any of the meteors. And this is really what most of my vision was when I first saw this stump. So when it came down to it, this is the first stacked composite that I did with the stump. It just didn't really come out right. I really wanted to do some sort of portrait or with me in the photo, so I ended up turning my camera towards me and photographing me on the beach, with the meteors coming down all around me. And then the final image, and here you'll see all the meteors that I captured that night. And even though my main foreground was the stump, I ended up changing it to me sitting by the campfire, pointing up at the sky, watching this cosmic light show happen around me.